Hi everyone, my name is Yankouski and today we will talk about API routing in Next.js. Our main topics for today is API routes and fetching data. So let's start. We have a predefined project with the single index page. Any file inside the folder pages/API is mapped to API and will be treated as an API endpoint instead of a page. So they are server-side only bundles and won't increase your client-side bundle size. In all other aspects, it works as well as pages routing. So let's build transform API endpoint, which accepts word in query parameter. It also has dynamic parameter type, which could be lower and upper, and finally our API endpoint will return a string which will be uppercased or lowercased. To define a handler, we need to just default export our handler. It could be treated the same almost as we use in Express.js. So request is our incoming message and response is outgoing message. So we have type dynamic parameter and word as a query parameter, and they both exist in query object, the same as we used in pages routing. Let's implement the logic of our API handler. We expect word in a query parameter, so if we do not see it, let's respond with 400 status code and with JSON, which consists of error, and in that error let's say that word should not be empty. We have type as a dynamic parameter, so any value could come here. But anyway, we support just lower and upper values, so let's just filter them out. If it's not lower or upper, we will throw an error as well. Okay, we will create this array a bit later, and now let's just return status 400 and the same error that the transformation type is not allowed. To keep everything on track, let's create that allow transform types array with allowed values of lower and upper. Now we have filtered out all invalid checks, so let's now transform our word. So if transformation type is lower, then just let's call to lowercase on our word, and if it's upper, then just call to uppercase. And now we need to just return response with status 200 and JSON. Let's call the property result and put transform there. Okay, cool. Let's go to our index page. Let's remove our default return with hard-coded string and create two states, one for initial word and another state will be for transformed word, the values which we will receive from our API endpoint. We should not to forget to import useStateHook from React. Let's do it right now. Let's then implement our transform function, which will make a request to our API endpoint to transform our word. Also, we here use fetch, and fetch is polyfilled out of the box by Next.js, so you do not need to use any isomorphic fetch or node fetch. It will fetch your data on client side and on server side as well. Let's then check our response from server. There could be error or result. One for 400 status code and one is successful. So if there is an error, let's put it as well to our transformed value in our state. Okay? And if there is result, let's do the same. Basically, you would do some more complex error handling in your application, but here we will relax on such implementation. So as we have a type argument in our transform function, let's create two handlers for transform lower and transform upper. Okay. And let's finally render markup for our application. So we will have an input where we could type any word which we will transform later. We'll have onChange handler where we will set the word and we'll pass value from our state here. Let's also create two buttons. If we will click first, it will transform our word to lowercase using our API endpoint, and when we click the second button, it will transform our word to uppercase. And finally, let's render somewhere our result. We'll use h2 tag here, and let's render our transformed value finally. Okay, let's check our application. Run Next.js in dev mode. Open localhost 3000. Let's open network tab to take a look at requests. Let's type hello world in different cases and click transform lower. Okay, the result is expected. Upper as expected. Let's check empty query. Okay, it responds with 400 status code. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.